actually have Papa in the shop right now. Off camera, stitches went through, and he plasti welded these side pieces here. So now these are mounted up. He just took some of the plastic off of the rear plastics that we were disposing of.
The old rear plastics?
Yeah, the old rear plastics, not the ones that we just mounted on the machine. Cut them out, measured them up, test fit it, and he plasti welded it. 1, 2, 3. We also went through and we got Papa the ODI Rogue grips, same ones we run on all the other machines. So Papa's actually here right now. Hi, Papa.
Hi.
And he's going to feel these things out. He's going to see what he thinks of the machine so far.
Comfortable. I'll tell you after I run it.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, so off camera, went through and installed the mud guards, the foot panels here. See, both sides are all done. So now, going down here to try and drain out the diff fluid. Figure might as well change it while we're at it. Alright, so up top here you have a 17 millimeter, which I have previously loosened. To pull it off, this is just your fill plug here. You see there's nothing really special about it. You can kind of look down in there. Everything looks alright. From what I've read online, this calls for 80-90, which we have. So you can see here there's two 8 millimeter bolts. You have one in the back and then one down here in the bottom. So the one down here in the bottom is your drain, which I'm going to take off. Ooh, that was kind of loose. We're going to see what this fluid looks like, if there's any in it. Well, there's some in it. Alright, so a little bit of nastiness on there. It actually doesn't look that bad. You know, it's not terrible at all. So I'm going to let that drain. We're going to take the top cap off. Hopefully that'll, yeah, let it flow a little easier. And as I showed you, there's another bolt higher that just broken loose. The one up here. So this is where you're going to fill it to. So after all this drains out, we're going to put the plug back in here, put our fluid in here, and when it starts seeping out this hole, that's when it's full. We'll put the plug in here, cap back on here, and call it a day. But this is going to take a minute, so I'm going to let this finish, and I'll check back with you. And then one thing I forgot to mention for the rear here, I wanted to show you guys how dark that was. Not terrible. Definitely needed to be changed. But you have to drop the skid plate off, which you can see this one's full of dirt and mud. There we go. So this has one bolt in the front and one on each side. So got one here on each side. So you have the front one in the front. Alright, so you see the one in the front is what holds on the tow hitch here, and also the axle tube. So the hole in the rear there is where the bolt goes for this, and it's the same on the other side. Then in the very front of the diff here, you've got your hole where your front bolt goes in. So I'm going to put this back in, and then I'll move to the front. Alright, so we're in the front now. I went through and removed the front part of the skid plate here. That sits like this. Removed the 4 bolts. Most of these bolts on this wheeler are a T30 Torx. fancy little special bolts. So, like the rear, on the bottom, it is an 8mm bolt. So we're going to remove that. And over here on this side, just like the rear, you've got your fill here. See if we can get a better shot of that. Got your fill hole over here, which is a 17mm, just like the rear. So from what I believe that the front, you fill it a little bit below the hole, like 1/2 inch or so below the fill hole. I will double check online to find out what the correct fluid amount is. But I'm gonna pull out this bolt, drain this diff. I'll check back with you in a minute. Alright, so went through, put the skid plate back in place, drain plug in, filled it up. From what I could read online, it said 0.28 quarts. And some of the newer differentials for these machines have a fill bolt probably about 1 inch below, down around that area. So I went with about 1 inch below the fill hole there. I believe that should be plenty. And the way I measured that was, took a zip tie, bent it, stuck it down in there, pulled it out, and measured it. You know, I didn't really measure it. Guessed about 1 inch down. So that's good enough. So the front diff is done. Rear diff is done. Pretty much everything is done. I have to do some finishing touches. Like, somebody took these front plastics off. You can see they're wobbly. We had ordered some new bolts. You can see down here. I put these on here because these were kind of messed up. And so I put 2 of the new ones in the front. Skid plate here in the bottom. So I'm going to take 2 of these and stick them up through the fenders in the front to try and keep these from rattling around. Somebody did take these off at one point. This side is on there correct, but it's missing a bolt in the front there. But you can see on this side where this is on the wrong side, and it's missing the bolt here as well. So also you can see that all of this stuff is flapping around in the wind because it looks like they just ripped them out. So I'm going to try and go through and fix these, put the bolts in here for the front plastics, and get on the front grille. Then I believe we can take the 500 here out for a rip. So I'm going to finish these few things tonight, and hopefully, fingers crossed, tomorrow we can give her a good rip and see how Papa likes her. Alright, so as you can see, the old girl's all back together, but I have noticed a little bit of a problem. I don't know if I'll be able to pick this up on camera here. Oh, if you watch, our carburetor is leaking. I believe it's from the accelerator pump here. So yeah, gonna have to pull it back apart and clean it, figure out what's going on. The kit we ordered did not have the piece for this down here, the gasket. So I ordered another kit with the right pieces that won't be here for a couple days. So unfortunately, gotta wait for that. But can at least pull it out, check it out, and see if that's actually where it's coming from, or if it's something as simple as, you know, we forgot to put something back in the correct spot. So I'm going to take the tank back off, the side plastic back off, and I'll let you know what I find. All right, so got the carburetor apart. You can see here on this piece where it's all broken and destroyed. So it's leaking right around it and pouring gas everywhere. So this piece is definitely what I thought was in it. What was wrong with it? I found an old kit here that I had laying around for the VN800, and there was this piece in there. I was hoping it'd work, but it's just a tad too small. And I found this one. You can see on there where it's all ground. There was a little like stub shaft that stuck off of it. Shaved it off. I'm gonna put this in there. I want to make sure that we don't have another leak anywhere else. Probably not the best thing to do. Probably should just wait for the kit to come, but it'll be fine. So I'm gonna stick this in, set it back in place, run some fuel in it, and hopefully that's the only leak we have. All right, so got the carburetor back in, and as you can see, we got no more leaks. You see the tank here is precariously placed. I was holding it up so we got a straight run of gas through it. But she's not leaking anymore, which is good for us. I never noticed that the cap for that starter there was melted through the way it is. And check it out, make sure everything else is good. But so we're gonna leave this just the way it is for testing purposes only. Then when we get the new piece in, we'll worry about switching it out, aka next year. So I'm gonna put it all back together, and I think, hopefully, knock on wood, that the old girl will be ready for some testing. We'll go from there. All right, so she's all back together again. I had to remove both side plastics to get the tank off because of the petcock here. But I no longer see gas dripping, which is a good thing. Try to fire her up, see what she does. Nope. There she goes. All right. So she sounds good and healthy again with the carburetor fixed. As I said, the original kit that we bought did not come with the piece with this gasket here. So we didn't realize how bad this was, or if it was even cracked before. So we'll just have to keep our eyes out next time. That piece on this carburetor is like a primer. You can prime the carburetor. You can shoot some extra gas into the carburetor. It's really all it does. Like I said, the piece that I took it from was out of the kit for the VN800 that I'd bought a couple of years back that I still have laying around. And it had that little stub shaft hanging off of it that I nicked off. So, seems to be working, seems to be holding.
You guys like this kind of content? Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay up to date. Watch this thing get finished. Find us on Instagram at rusted_nut_repair. And see you next time.